It's time for the LowcoSports Lowdown. Here are your hosts, Justin Jarrett, Wes Kerr, and Max Araj.
It's a Saturday night special. I was debating whether to open with Saturday Night Special or bum 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 bum. Chariots of Fire, because we got champions to crown
Oh, yes, we
on a
do.
Saturday night special edition of the LowcoSports Lowdown. Wes Kerr, Max Raj, Justin Jarrett with you. Two of us repping Canes gear. See, Max got his new hoodie from Coach Rayleigh today.
Nice.
When he popped out to
Well,
see Los Canes.
I'm unfortunately repping the team that had not so good of a day. Sadly, USCB.
Yeah, it was
Bit of a
kind of a
downer
rough
there.
day.
Yeah.
I haven't checked in on baseball. How's that going?
Baseball lost 8-6.
Yeah, gosh, dang. So Sandsharks got blanked today.
Yeah.
So rough day for them. But softball coming to the rescue tomorrow.
Yes.
But we got a great show lined up tonight on Championship Saturday for SCISA basketball as well as high school league wrestling. Our first guest tonight. Well, actually, we're going to have two first guests sorted because one of them is our pseudo co-host, our regular contributor, Marcus Walsh, who'll be joining us shortly to talk a little hoop. He was following along all day, and then Ripley, assistant AD at Wilson Hall. One half of the This Week in SCISA Athletics podcast, along with Neil Minton, and one half of the broadcast team for, I guess you would call it the SCISA Coaches Cast today for the basketball games, which I think proved.
That's
I mean,
awesome.
it saved my day. I was getting frustrated when we were into the fourth quarter and we were still trying to figure out the mascots of the teams. And I was getting a little frustrated. And then the Stricklander, Jeffrey Strickland, came through with the alternative broadcast link, and it was great.
The coaches cast, if you will.
The coaches cast, yeah, the Manning cast, the SCISA Manning cast. But without further ado, let's present this thing. This thing is presented by the Mickelson Law Firm, our oldest sponsor, our all-star sponsor. They've been with us since we launched in 2017 and still supporting us. So we hope that if you have legal needs, you'll call on them. They can do it all in the legal world, but they're our official real estate closing attorney and the presenting sponsor of our Hilton Head Christian Academy coverage. Of course, no HHCA on championship weekend this year, but one day soon, perhaps.
Hey, spring sports are underway. And
yeah, they are. They got high hopes over there, especially for that baseball program. So Mickelson Law Firm, they'll be bringing you the HHCA coverage all spring, and they are bringing you everything. They're our biggest sponsor here at LowcoSports. So please help them out if you have the need. And with that, we welcome in our good friend Marcus Walsh from WHHI TV, as well as our new friend Ripley. What's going on, Rip?
Doing well, guys. Appreciate y'all having me on.
Yeah, man. Enjoyed listening to you guys today.
Really
And as I noted a couple nights ago, you had reached out by email, and I hadn't had a chance to get back to you yet. I was kind of trying to wrap my head around when it would make sense. And when we decided to do a show tonight, and then I saw you guys doing the broadcast today, I was like, well, shoot, tonight makes perfect sense. You can kind of recap the whole day for us and give us some insight into some of the things that we've kind of been tongue-in-cheek, talking about, speculating about, like what's going on here. And I guess I'll say before we go too deep into it, I hope that doesn't rub people the wrong way, because we joke around a lot. I hope nobody takes me too seriously. I mean, I've devoted my life to like kids playing sports, like I'm not a super serious person, but I do take that seriously, and we do joke around a lot, but it is mostly good-hearted fun, and a lot of it is stuff that I've picked up from conversations with SCISA coaches and SCISA administrators about the frustrations that they share, and we do the same thing with the public schools too. I mean, it's all of us kind of in this community, like nudging, poking a little bit to try to get closer to what we think makes sense. And that's all it is. But we do appreciate your insight as somebody who actually gets to be in that room where some of those decisions get made. And what we all seek, I think, is understanding more than anything. So
be in the room where it happens.
Exactly. Hamilton. But we seek understanding.
I think anything that, Neil and I started our podcast about 4 years ago, just as a way to bring light to SCISA athletics. I mean, I think that our league can do a lot of things in the world of social media and promotion that sometimes doesn't happen. And I think that our podcast helps do that. We talk to coaches. Today kind of came out of a random. We were talking on Thursday, and we're like, dude, what if we just did our own little Manning cast on the side of the SCISA TV one? And it was really fun. We had a bunch of coaches stop in and talk to us, had a bunch of feedback from people, kind of texting us about the day, did some, trivia. We got people texting us answers, all kind of fun stuff. So it was actually really enjoyable. And at the end of the day, it was just me and Neil sitting there watching the games like he would have been in the bleachers anyway, So it was kind of fun,
Right.
fun experience.
That's great.
Well, that was the beauty of it. I mean, it probably could have benefited from a play-by-play person sort
Sure.
of to kind of guide it. I mean, if I was being like, if I was giving
the analysts
constructive
are good, you
criticism.
don't need one because
Well, the only reason I say that is because the camera kept kind of having a little glitch where it would shift focus every now and then.
Sure.
And it made it a little difficult. And just like at first I didn't think that much about it, but like when you'd say like, oh, that number 11, like I just wish there was somebody who was telling me who had the ball and what was going on. I didn't realize how much I would miss that until it wasn't there. But I thought that y'all's analysis and your just kind of banter was amazing.
Yeah. Well, thank you. Yeah. And that was kind of our goal, was to give that alternate kind of view, I mean, I think, at the end of the day, that's the funny thing. I kept teasing Neil. He was in charge. We would flip off being in charge of the camera, and inevitably out of every timeout or dead ball, we would forget the camera. And
nobody's panning.
Yeah, classic, like wrong, like, oh, it's a great play and you missed it. Sorry. So we were trying our best to, two coaches up there trying to work technology sometimes isn't the best.
Well, that happens in the Peach Belt too, right, fellas?
That's right, yeah.
We've missed quite a few potential game winners or game winners because somebody was watching instead of panning the camera.
That's right, 100%.
If I can interject, Rip, great job, great having you on today. I've been doing play-by-play for WHHI TV on Hilton Head for the better part of a decade, and have done high school league football and basketball, SCISA football and basketball, and have done color commentary as well. But over the years have been elevated to the number one play-by-play guy. And I just wanted to kind of interject because I understand. Certainly, like I posted on the chat that we have today. This is like the Manning cast, and I thought it was what you guys did was outstanding, and I think what it is outstanding. I agree wholeheartedly, and JJ knows this as well, being a play-by-play guy himself for USCB. I agree wholeheartedly with the fact that a little bit of if I had just a slight criticism, a little bit of a host would have helped, like with the flow of certain things. But talk about exclusively, because you guys did it all day, what that means and what it can help with somebody who might just be watching the game for the first time or just trying to get more of an inside knowledge. As a play-by-play guy, I'm very blessed to have color guys that are very knowledgeable. So talk about it from that side of it and what you guys were able to do today.
Yeah, no, I think, and look, it was kind of authentically us. I mean, Neil and I, like I said, we started this a couple
that
years
was
ago,
what I liked about it.
Being coaching buddies, and we talk all the time off air. That's what he joked at one point. He's like, I don't remember if we talked about this just when we were talking or on our podcast last week, because we do that, all the time. But I think that giving that perspective where it's not just the, number 11 passes the ball to 23 shoots the ball, kind of that play-by-play style. I think giving that insight of, hey, what would you do here? Making the person think a little bit. Like, ooh, okay, well, yeah, they are down 6 here. Like, well, what would I do? It's easy to say, hey, you're doing it wrong, but can you say what you should be doing right? I think that was kind of our goal, was just to bring, and we were honest on what we would be doing, with our personnels and our teams and things like that. And that was kind of our goal. I said it kind of came together last minute, so we're hoping. I think it went well. I think it's something in the future we could grow that a little bit and tie it in with our SCISA podcast, and which is part of our goal of that is just growing our coaches, growing our community of coaches, which is increasingly more difficult, it seems like in recent years, is growing that community with other ADs and coaches, because we're so spread out and it's so easy. And obviously we're guilty right now because we just hopped on a Zoom, right? I mean, how much different would this be if we were all in the same room, because we would have those relationships at the time. And I think we're easy to do that in coaching now. And I think that's something with our podcast and with even today's live stream, we're trying to do is kind of make that community a little bit stronger.
Amen to that. And that's why
Hey, that's what we're doing
I
as
was really
well. We've
excited
done
when you reached
many
out,
of these
because I mean, this thing was built because I was a former newspaper sports reporter in an area where the newspaper abandoned sports, and that's a familiar story across South Carolina. But here it really left us with nothing. I mean, we're stuck between TV markets, and there was just nothing here. And I was working at USCB and going, what's happening in high school sports? I don't even know who's good anymore, and so I was always thinking, well, what can I do? What can I do? But how could I do it? How could I do it? And then one day I just decided it was time, and Loco Sports was born. But certainly we want to have a bigger perspective too. And so we certainly welcome you to the conversation and appreciate you reaching out and kind of initiating it. I need to stay up on this week in SCISA Athletics. It sounds like I could gain a lot of insight from that, because you guys are sharing the scoops. But I know we poke fun at Sumter Civic Center, and I think that's more about the venue than anything. But there's been some real magic in there, and it's been a cool venue for that event. And of all the SCISA events, I do feel like the basketball state championship is the one that feels the biggest, the most put on, sort of. Everybody's in one place. I think the thing that drives me nuts though is the games that are played at like 4 o'clock on a Tuesday in the Aux gym at Wilson Hall. I can't visualize what that looks like, but it sounds so not playoffs.
So it's great. And kind of my goal when I reached out was like almost kind of ask me anything, like give me your questions and let me see what I can answer. You know what I mean? I didn't, totally give that background. I mean, I'm a SCISA guy through and through. I went to Porter Gown. I graduated in 2003. We won our first state championship in that same Civic Center. Now, we played on the old square sport court, which was a little bit rougher back in the day, but they've got the wood court now. But then I got into coaching, coached at Carter Newman for a couple years, ended up at OP as the head coach for 7. And this is my 10th year here at Wilson Hall. So, I mean, I've been basically in SCISA since I was born. Yeah, I mean, so I've been around a lot of it. I think the challenges we face in SCISA that are a little bit different from the high school league, and one of them was, one thing y'all mentioned was why not just play home games first couple rounds? And we get that a lot. And I think the biggest challenge is officiating. We do not have the base of officials that the high school league has, and spreading across the entire state. I think you would get some really. I'm trying to say this nicely. We don't get fined in SCISA from officials. I'm trying to be nice as a coach, but like we'd have some tough games if that was the case, as far as officiating goes. And so,
to be fair, we have some tough games
in the high school
in high school league, especially at the lower divisions. There's you get some where it's like, wait, that guy knows all the kids on that team. What's going on here?
Yeah.
So I feel you on that.
Yeah, and I think in principle, it's mostly neutral court. Now, I know this year we had more probably quote unquote home court games. There's, I think, 5 total, where I know we had one at Wilson Hall, OP, Calhoun, Cathedral, I think, had one, and maybe Northwood had a home game. And really that comes down to just our staffs. If we're going to host the game, it's really difficult if we're not also playing there to host the game.
Right. Almost impossible.
I mean, because most of our staffs, ADs, et cetera, that do basketball games are the basketball staffs, right? And so it does make it tough. And I think there's only one instance, and there was a lot of discussion about it. There's only one instance I remember where a lower seed hosted games one day, and everybody's like, hold up, this isn't right. Usually it's a higher seed that does get that game, but it's not everybody. And that is something that is discussed often. I will say for Wilson Hall, obviously, our aux gym is arguably nicer than our main gym. I don't know if you've ever been there, but it is actually, it's a newer gym that we built that's just a bigger gym. If you've ever been there. So it's not like your traditional, like, hey, here's the wrestling gym turned into a basketball gym. And then Carter Newman, Orangeburg Prep, more centrally located places, I feel like, are the ones that are asked to host those early games. Civic Center, obviously we were joking about even today. We were sitting up in the rafters and like I was afraid I might fall to the floor at one point because I sat down too hard on one of the tiles and broke them. I mean, it is a little scary up there. But for our league and the size of schools we have, I think going to a bigger venue would almost feel empty. And I think that the
Yeah.
size of the Civic
Makes sense.
Center is a good size for the school. I mean, you got to remember, even our biggest schools would be 1A high school league schools
Right.
sometimes.
Right.
And so we don't have those massive fan bases. They're going to fill up an old Colonial Life or one of those, and even a
Right.
smaller college facility, I think would be difficult. So Sumter, obviously, and there's some nostalgia there as well, I think, with
Yeah.
SCISA in general.
Yeah.
And in our league, too, one of the things is it is fairly centrally located. Now, obviously, we've got some schools down y'all's area, Hilton Head area. We've got some schools in the Greenville, Spartanburg area. But the
Right.
majority of our league is from Charleston to Columbia to
Yeah.
Florence to Orangeburg.
Yeah.
And in the roots, it certainly was that. It's grown since then. And will continue to grow, I think, with some potential teams joining in the next couple of years. But I think that is more centrally located than I think we think of sometimes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I
It
totally agree
is.
with
It
you.
doesn't feel central because it's in
It's
the middle of nowhere,
it's a
sort of.
Yeah.
Like it's weird to get there, but it
Yeah.
is.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Just for me and in my couple of years of just following and covering SCISA sports, I mean it's a seminal kind of build because we've had a lot of great memories and a lot of great moments,
Mhm.
and that's something about those old gyms that you remember and you
Yeah.
want to continue to see
Yeah.
basketball and big time athletics played there. And I think it's a perfect venue for a SCISA championship game. I
Yep.
think it's it's equidistant from a decent amount of areas in South Carolina. There's no perfect location, obviously.
Sure.
Columbia's in the center, but even then, it's rare to find a place that suits everyone. So I think Sumter is a great venue to host it, and it's challenging. The thing about SCISA, as you mentioned, like the schools, just location. It's not it's kind of varied in terms of location. You
Mhm.
have a couple of schools in Low Country, and you have a ton in other areas as well. So
Yeah. How many total schools are we looking at now in SCISA?
So I know like official members were like 100 and probably about 110 schools. Now
Yeah.
all those participate in athletics. So I think when you look
Right.
just athletics, I would probably say in the 70 range, 70, 75 schools broken into 4 classifications. So there's about
Yeah.
anywhere from 18 to 25 schools per classification.
And that's a challenge too that we've
Right.
kind of touched on, and I don't know that we're not privy to like the numbers, so we don't
Mhm.
know where it falls. But I'm guessing. I mean, I know that from previous iterations of the the realignment or whatever,
Yep.
it's just a challenge to get apples and apples
Yep.
together without getting some oranges mixed in there, right?
Sure.
Like, and so we had a situation I think today with actually kind of 2. Cross is a small school,
Mhm.
but in girls basketball, their talent was
Yep.
pretty well above the level of
Mhm.
the classification in 2A, and then the same with Hilton Head Prep boys. I mean, that was a 4A basketball team playing in 3A. And it's hard to balance all that out. We see it in high school leagues as
Mhm.
well. I think it's just there's such a smaller sample that it
Yeah.
when one stands out above the rest, it really is
Sure.
magnified.
Yeah.
Well, and that goes to, even back to, determining playoffs, which is a lot of question, like how do we determine seeding? We don't do the typical, high school league, I think at the beginning of the
Right.
season, like if I'm the region 2, number 2 team,
Right.
this is where I'm going.
Right.
And we don't do
Yep.
that because there are so many less schools that it wouldn't make sense to do that. I mean, I know for 4A boys basketball this
Right.
year, I know that trip on I-95 very well because we were in the same region this year as John Paul and
Right.
Hilton Head Christian. I also coach
Right.
volleyball, and so I've made that trip 5 times this year. It's not fun.
No.
So it's that, like you say, putting teams together. But even at our level, like our region, I think was better this year than it's been in years past. But the Columbia region clearly was a stronger region across the
Yeah.
board. And so
Yeah.
if
Right.
if even us as the region champions, or even John Paul as the region, 3rd or 4th team this
Right.
year, if they got a higher seed than a Ben Lippin or a Heathwood, it wouldn't have made a lot of sense. And we're just so small that it's I don't know. It is tough to do that. That's a question that's brought up a lot.
There's no easy answer.
Well, I got a couple
you're trying to
follow-ups
base
to
on
that.
region, and there's a lot
Yeah,
that goes
yeah.
into
No, I think SCISA's done a lot of things right as far
I
as
agree.
the
I agree.
playoff seeding type thing goes. But the question I have about it is just kind of, and it's not negative necessarily, but a curiosity because there's not a lot of transparency about how that happens. What is the committee? Who is the committee? How do they determine the seeding? Because it just it seems like there's not necessarily a published process or anything. So I'm just curious about it.
Yeah, it's a good question. So typically, it depends on the sport a little bit. Some of it's done in-house with SCISA, right? So everybody submits their reports at the end of the year. We post scores. We send all that into SCISA. And in some sports, it's done in-house in the SCISA office. They go through everything and create the brackets. In some sports, like basketball, for instance, there's a, quote, committee, right? And the committee is typically a representative from every region in the state. So every region has a representative on that committee. And so the committees, the region representatives get together and look through everything and then to help determine the brackets that way.
Okay. Yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah.
I mean, that's very similar to how the South Carolina Basketball Coaches Association, for example, picks their all-state teams. There's a region rep in the room, and they've had a meeting with all their region coaches and discussed who they're going to put forward and all that stuff. So that all makes sense. The other question I had was, this is one of the things that always throws me for a loop, and I just, again, I think it's the lack of communication. But maybe if I was listening to This Week in SCISA Athletics, I would know what's going on. But that region tournament hit me out of nowhere, and then I didn't understand why we had it, because everybody got in. Even teams that didn't get in the region tournament got in the state tournament the next week. So what?
So typically the region tournament. So that's a great question, actually. So some regions don't even have region tournaments, which is a whole other part of the conversation.
It's Wild West, right? You do what you want.
Yeah. So our region specifically, traditionally our region is kind of the PD Sumter Manning area, right?
Right.
And so we've always way back when we've always had a region tournament, and it used to be, looking back 20 years from now, when the state tournament was 8 teams, right? You winning your region tournament was like the NCAA, and you could get a bid into state by winning your region tournament.
I mean, I date back to those times because I got here in 2005 and covered Hilton Head Prep and Hilton Head Christian when they'd be in a region tournament with Porter Goud and Pinewood, and only one would go to state. I loved it. I think it's awesome.
And I think
that's great.
I think over time, you have more teams making state. And at our level, you're looking at somewhere from 12 to 15 teams usually make it, which only leaves out a few, which is, but again, you get that in the high school league sometimes. In high school league, sometimes you have.
It's way too many teams in the playoffs.
Yeah, I mean, I would say across the board, that's probably a fair conversation. And it's hard because some years at some levels, I think in 4A boys this year, there was a ton of parity across the board. And I think that a lot of teams deserved that shot.
A lot of it.
Yeah.
But then when you looked at other classifications, it was very clearly 3 or 4 teams, and that was it. There was kind of domination of the playoffs. So it is tough year to year. But I think so for us, I can speak on what we do. So our region tournament, as it evolved over the years, was used as our region tiebreaker. So we finish our regular season, and we've got ranks. So this year, for example, in the boys' side, we didn't have any ties. So we were first in the region. Trinity was second. Lawrence Manning was third. John Paul was fourth. 1, 2, 3, 4. But for years and years, Florence Christian and Wilson Hall girls, when they were in the same region, they split during the regular season. And so we would, instead of just going by points or they would use the region tournament. Whoever finished higher would get the number 1 seed for our region. So it was kind of a way to play it out, which was great. For us, it also was great because we played it in the Sumter Civic Center. So we played our semifinals and our championship games in the Civic Center, which is obviously great for us because we get an advantage of playing the place where playoffs are played. Now, this year, we went down and played in the Hilton Head area as kind of a, here you go to the Hilton Head schools, not making you come to Sumter twice both years. Next year, we will have it in Sumter, both rounds of the region tournament. So, but again, in 4A, we're the only region that has a region tournament. Nobody else has a region tournament except for us. And it is tough at times because you play a team for a third time, maybe in a fourth time when you get to the state tournament.
Right.
And that's why some regions don't do it. But that's a very good question.
Has there been any discussion of, since you guys kind of have carte blanche to just kind of blow it up and do it however you want to do it? Has there been any discussion of going to more like an NCAA March Madness type model where the region regular season champion gets in, the region tournament champion gets in, and then you backfill with at-larges? Because that would be pretty fun.
Yeah, I mean, I agree. I think it would require everyone to go to that region tournament, which, like I said, right now
Right.
doesn't happen. I think the challenge is it all comes down to how many teams we're taking to state, right? I mean,
Right.
I think right now with our model, some years if you want to go to state, you get to go to state, which again is kind of crazy. And
That
I agree with
is.
that sometimes. But I think that when you look at, certain sports, it kind of makes sense. And usually we have a few teams opt out and say, hey, no, we're good. And we end up with I said, that 12 to 15 number is pretty standard. I think if we were to go back to less teams, it would encourage some of that. But I think then it also adjusts back like how you do regular season stuff and how you do cross region stuff. I think some of that would have to change as well if we went with that model.
Yeah. I think that could be cool. And then you could reduce the number of teams, that are in the quote unquote state tournament, but in reality, everyone's in the state tournament. They're just playing closer to home, and you're not
through their
doing
regions.
not doing the neutral gyms and
I mean, I think there are benefits.
But the officiating would again become a challenge, I'm sure, that region tournament week.
But
it
at the
is
same
sometimes.
time, I will say there are benefits, in my opinion, to having a bigger, a larger state tournament field. I think it gives the opportunity for more teams to play deep into the season, and I think that's good for high school sports. I feel like there's been a lot of arguments against like having a lot of teams in, but I think that to have things to play like games to play for, like important games late in the season for most teams, I think it really instills and motivates more of that competition as we get close to the end of the season. So I know obviously,
I think it can go both ways.
For sure.
I
and look, at the end of the day,
however, there is in another sense, you have it where you're having like a low a team that is certainly weaker that is going to a number one team in this, like there's no use for that. So
we've all been around teams that were just like, no, this season just needs to mercifully end. We don't need to go get slaughtered again.
Well, and I think,
I like play more like first round buys for the top teams.
Yeah,
because I think that's a good way of rewarding those top teams, but also allowing more teams to
make it. And that's happened some years as well. I think when I look at the benefits of postseason play, like obviously one is a financial benefit, right? I mean, there is more teams playing, which means more fans going. Which as a league, SCISA and high school league, like they're able to. They have to generate money, and that's a way to get it is through playoff teams playing, right? And so I think that certainly is part of it. And then also the experience element of it. I know it depends on your year. Like you say, there are certainly years where teams are like, let's just be done. We're not going. We're out. But a lot of coaches are like, no, like I want my younger kids to go, even if we're going to get our butts cut a little bit by this better team, like go play
see what it looks like.
Neutral SCISA game, see what it's like so that next year after, or if it's my seniors, I'm going to give my seniors one last shot. Like, I don't want to quit on me personally. I don't want to quit on my seniors. Like, I want to make them believe I'm going to have their back no matter what. And so play that next game. So I think I definitely see it both ways on that for sure.
Yeah, man. Well, we've gone in the weeds enough. Let's talk about these games that happened today at the Civic Center. Cross girls game ended up being pretty interesting for a good bit. They got in some foul trouble. You noted like they stayed true to themselves and kept pressing and swarming and picking up some silly fouls at times, but they were able to endure. So what did you see from them today?
Yeah, I mean, I think obviously the foul trouble played a factor early. Lawrence Academy is a really, really young team. I mean, I think we noted on our live stream a team, Coach Marlett has done a great job there building a program over the years, and they're usually one of the top teams at either 1A, 2A, wherever his team kind of falls. They're really young this year and kind of, I would say, a year or two ahead of schedule, quote unquote, as they made this run deep in the playoffs. Cross on paper was the team to beat all along, right? I mean, they had the most firepower. I've got to see them a couple times this week because they played at our place on Thursday as well. I watched them against Lee Academy, and just their relentless pressure, and it kind of did it against Lawrence eventually too. You're going to give up those bad fouls at some time
Right.
because you're getting turnovers on the other end.
Yeah.
But they're just relentless pressure really played through. I mean, those girls set up and played big. We talked to Doc a little bit on the coach's corner a little bit after their game, and obviously you got the Mayor's girl that's really really strong. You've got the senior number 2 had a great game, got hurt a little bit, banged up a little bit second half, also had some foul trouble. You also had number 20 for them who came out and shot incredibly in that second half.
Is that
Wheat had a couple of big shots for them.
Yeah, she came from off the radar too.
Yeah, and really did well. And so and look, what an interesting story at that school this year for Doc, having to coach both teams. By after Christmas, coach walked away. Some of the girls were talking about not playing. They had to forfeit a few games before Christmas right there because they didn't know.
Hasn't been an easy season.
What their staff's going to be, and then to come back and make this run and win a state championship. I mean, really, really cool story, and definitely they were the best team tonight, no question.
Yeah, and then Hilton Head Prep. I mean, they were the best team all season, and the Harper kid, he's one of the best I've seen come through here.
There have been several.
I'm eager to see where he ends up.
Yeah, he might be the best that I've seen in the last couple of years, where they have brought in some tremendous athletes. But yeah, talk about what you saw from Ty Harpering, especially tonight. Now, he didn't score his highest total at all this year, but he was efficient, and I think the whole team was efficient. They didn't have any possessions because they just they drained the clock, especially as it went on. And the efficiency,
they played to win the game.
Yeah. That's right. Well, and I think coming in, so I'm good friends with Kyle Drew over at PD Academy. Great young coach in our league, and really does some. He's an offensive coordinator for the football team. That's won multiple state championships lately as well. Like myself, a lot of us in SCISA wear multiple hats, right? We're coaching multiple things, and so he came in with a game plan, and Hilton Head Prep kind of made him pay early. To be honest, like they were really efficient scoring, in my opinion, early. I've watched in the last 2 years the state championship, and it's really really impressive. What they've done in state championship games. I mean, forcing Christian Academy last year and PD this year just into taking the uncomfortable shots and almost feeling like they have to shoot these 25-foot threes, or they're having to force contested layups on their own with these big bodies they had in there.
Yeah.
Harpering's a dude. I mean, he can play, obviously. Physically, he's strong enough to push people around. He gets the rim. His shot from the perimeter is amazing. Not the volume. Obviously, I saw a little bit at the end of the game Thursday night against OP. He had 37, hitting 8 threes. I mean, really showed out there. Hilton Head Prep or OPD, tried to keep him in check a little bit. But once they got that lead, then they started running. They're really good. That chin prints and offense stuff that Coach Barron does so well. And we're just super efficient. And it made it it made it obviously impossible for PD to even make that run late in the game because Hilton Head Prep was so far ahead, and they didn't have those lapses. And they just score.
Yeah, and they hold the
ball. They're up 10. They might as well be up 30.
Right. Yeah. They drag when they have the lead, obviously, but they'll drag out possessions for extended periods of time, and then they'll make you defend them until they find that cutter. They find an open corner.
They'll run you to death, and then get the layup or hit the open three.
It's incredible to see how different pieces slot in. But I think this might be this was probably the best Hilton Head Prep team from top to bottom that I've seen throughout these last 3 years of state championships. They've had some great players, Sean Cusano being one of them. But the way this team performed, and certainly they dropped a game or two, but other than that. The loss to Bluffton may have, woke them up mid-season when we had that rematch over there. But after that,
the J2 one early kind of snapped them out. And
they did. I think that was part of it as well.
Yeah. They only lost 4 games, right? Yeah.
Yeah, they had a good run. A couple guys stepped up big tonight too. Not just Harpering, but some other guys really stepped. And 2 super.
Aaron had a pretty good one, didn't he?
Who was
Barron?
Barron had hit a couple shots from perimeter really well. 20. What's 20's name? Sorry, I'm blanking on some names. Right, it's been a long day.
Sheehan.
They played an incredible game. Yep. He finished inside. He was defensively a force. He really made it hard for PD to attack inside. I thought, honestly, Harpering, you kind of knew what he was going to do. Even Barron, you knew he could stretch and shoot and score. I thought Sheehan was a little bit of a difference maker in that game because of his ability to control the paint on offense and defense. He scored inside when he had to.
Yep.
He's the guy setting those Princeton style screens. He's the guy
Yep.
finding the open guys sometimes. I was really
And-
impressed with his game today.
And they were without him when they lost to Bluffton and
Okay.
for several games after that because, fun story, for Christmas, he got plane tickets to go visit his dad in South Africa. So he was away for a while.
Yeah.
And right. That one hit me out of left field. That was a new one for me. But so he was away for like, a few weeks. And that probably made their team better because they had to develop some depth over that time. But he was an important player for them, and it doesn't necessarily show up in the box score, like you said. He's doing little things that get people open looks, and just defending the rim is such a valuable thing that doesn't necessarily show up on your stat line. But you look at that field goal percentage from inside 10 feet or whatever, and you did something. So
that's right. Well,
any others?
What'll be interesting is very senior heavy team, right? I mean,
they all graduate.
Yep.
They're they had 7, I think, seniors.
Look
TD had 9 seniors. Very senior heavy teams.
Yeah, and one of those seniors is the coach's son. So I don't know, but you always, I don't know. He came from coaching college to coach here, and now his kid's graduating. You would think it's probably time for the next chapter.
Sure.
Especially with that senior heavy of a team, I would think it's probably time for the rebuild, and I don't think he's probably in it for that, but we'll see. But any other standout storylines from today? Ragin' Prep was kind of cool.
Yeah, so Reagan Prep's a local school here in Sumter.
Oh, is it Reagan? I want to call it Ragin because Ragin's way cooler.
Ragin'
cool,
Prep,
man.
all the rage.
But no, Reagan Prep, we actually do a lot with them personally because they're local here in Sumter. I know Anthony really well, good dude. And he's got that program the last couple of years. I give him a lot of credit. He went out this year. They finished the state championship season with a record of 14-14 because he went out and played everybody. He played anybody at the 3A, 4A level, public schools. I mean, he was in a couple tournaments, big tournaments, that he was not afraid to go out and play people. I thought that was really, a great decision by him that paid off in the long run for them. But yeah, great run there. Cathedral, Andrew Jackson was a great 2A boys matchup. Cathedral, really, really good team, obviously.
Yeah.
They've got Caden Whitledge. There is a senior for them, had a big game. Bryce Ward's their dude. He's a sophomore. He ended the game with 25. But he had, Caden had a big game, and they were able to beat Andrew Jackson, who was kind of on a good run there in the 2A boys game. PD Academy was in both boys and girls tonight, which obviously meant it was a massive – the whole town of Mullins was in Sumter tonight cheering out, which is really cool.
They're a rowdy bunch, too.
Yeah. They were cool, yeah. And but the girls won a big win over Orangeburg Prep, who was kind of the favorite.
Oh, wow.
I think, coming in. They beat OP by 6 in that game. OP was number 1 seed overall.
Oh, I would have lost my parlay on that one.
Yeah. They did a really good job. And then last night we had some great 4A games. We had Trinity Collegiate, who was from our region, who played Jonesboro. Trinity had a huge win over First Baptist. They won by 25 last night.
Wow. Yeah, Trinity.
And even what was crazy, so we talked about it a little bit today, but so their best player, Michaela Leggett, had 4 fouls in the middle of the second quarter. And coach never took her out. She never fouled out. It was crazy. Like the whole time, all of us coaches were like, what would you do? We're like, yeah, I'm taking her out. You have to, right? But she didn't, and she stayed in, and she lit it up. Had a great game. They played a great game around. They ended up pulling away. Porter Gowd had a huge comeback win over Augusta Christian. They were down 14 in the third quarter. Came back and won by 3.
I always root for the South Carolina teams against the Georgia teams.
Oh, always. Come on now. I guess I can say that. But I'm a Porter Gowd alum, so obviously I was pulling for him too a little bit.
Clearly.
JP was my JV coach when I was there.
I was going to say, you played for JP back in the day?
I did. Yeah, he was my JV coach, assistant on varsity when I was there. So, but yeah, I mean, great. And even their storyline, Robert Moore, who was kind of their big time prospect, left this past year, went out to a prep school. And last year he was such a central part of what they did, and for these other guys to step up and grow was really, really cool to see them play as a team and to have a lot of success there.
Yeah, he went out to where, Arizona?
He went to Arizona, but I think he's come back east since. I think I heard he may be at Moravian. I think is what I heard at one point. But yeah, I mean, anytime you have that happen, I mean, that's obviously
I got to know his pops a little bit when he was running for office.
There you go. I didn't know that. Nice. But yeah, so he, but they came together, had a really good team win. And then the 1A girls yesterday, Curtis Baptist. Curtis Baptist won their first state championship in girls yesterday. Tim Johnson.
Well deserved. That's a good program.
Yeah, he's done
they
a great job
they
there.
gave Cross hell last year, and Cross was better last year than they were this year.
Yeah. So congrats to them. So yeah, I mean, great weekends. I mean, we I appreciate y'all having me on to talk SCISA anytime, guys. I'm happy to come down no matter what.
Yeah, man. We'll definitely make it a regular deal.
Talk SCISA and give y'all a little peek behind the curtain whenever you want, as much as I can. I mean, not that I know all of it, but I do know some of it from time to time.
No, I appreciate it, man. And I'm sure we have a lot of mutual friends in the SCISA world, like Rich Basirico and Chris Myers, and there's all kind of those guys, that Shuford and all those guys that I've developed great relationships. And again, whenever we talk about SCISA, we're kind of talking about it through the lens of the Low Country, and a lot of it's inside jokes among our little community. So
that's right.
Now you're part of it, brother.
It's and that I think that's part of it. I think any league is going to have those questions. That's why I'm happy that y'all gave me a chance to come and talk and clear some of it up. I mean, that's stuff that I think is important to get that information out. We can, because you're right. Communication is tough with high school league and SCISA sometimes. There's a lot of questions on how stuff happens. I think I appreciate the opportunity to come talk about it.
Hey, Rip, I sent you a Facebook friend request.
Okay.
I definitely want to get in touch with you. Might have some opportunities a little bit further down the line.
Cool. Absolutely, man. Absolutely. Thank you.
All right, man. We appreciate you. Enjoy some rest after a busy couple of days.
All right. Well, unfortunately for me, track season started 3 weeks ago, so I'm already in the middle of track season. So we're hitting the next sport running, but I appreciate it, man.
Hey, I feel your pain. I'm coaching 1A first-year varsity softball program at Hardyville this year. So I understand many of your pains, sir.
Absolutely. Appreciate it, guys. Y'all have a good one.
Yeah.
Be well. Rip Ripley, everybody. Great to have him on. So happy he reached out and connected.
He's coming back. He's coming
back.
Definitely. Oh, he's 100% going to become a recurring guest, because every time we have a SCISA question, we're going to be like, oh, send up the Rip signal. We're going to need to get Rip Ripley in to explain. Rip Ripley explains it all. The SCISA edition.
That goes for my contacts with work too. I mean, we haven't had much SCISA information on WHHI, and who knows how long.
And I think that's the genesis
I'm gonna get in contact with him.
I think that's the genesis of the running joke, right? Is the genesis of the running joke is every time people start asking me, hey, what's going on with SCISA? When do they have brackets or anything? I start asking my SCISA contacts, and they go, we don't know.
Yeah.
And so that's why the running joke is like, does anybody know what SCISA's doing? No. That's all it is. It's just a communication thing. But now we would know if we were listening to This Week in SCISA Athletics with Rip Ripley and Neil Minton. And we got an introduction of them today on the Coaches Cast, and they are an easy listen. I think we can say that with some authority. They're easy to listen to. They're fun to listen to. I'm going to put it in my regular rotation. So good stuff. All right. Shout out to a few sponsors. Our Lowco Booster Club. We got our tried and true Lowco Booster Club member, Hudson Seafood House on the docks, back for another round. They are the best place on Hilton Head to get seafood, cocktails, sunsets, right on Skull Creek. Presenting sponsor of Under the Bus. New episode aired earlier tonight, or not earlier tonight. That was in my notes. Aired Tuesday? And we'll be coming back around again Tuesday night, because we got USCB hoops on Wednesday. So Hudson Seafood House on the docks. Sunday is always a great day to go to Hudson's for brunch.
Yeah, Sunday morning, man. Oh.
Yeah, if you could, I mean, if you're not a church goer, you can get in there Sunday morning and beat the church crowd, the after church crowd. You're good to go. New sponsor is Hilton Head Furniture. Cool furniture store. I actually did a little bit more research on them. I was just looking around down on New Orleans Road, and what I thought was cool, Max, and you're probably aware of this, I don't know, but when they opened up, they really started to try to find somebody who made quality furniture that was up to their standards, and had a hard time finding a place that was made stuff in the United States. They found a private label manufacturer out of Hickory, North Carolina, and hooked up with them. And it's another family-owned business handed down through the generations, and they've got a great partnership. So if you want to get something that's a little different from the run-of-the-mill stuff that you get at the chain furniture stores, go to Hilton Head Furniture, our new Lowco Booster Club member, and check them out. And they're in the HHCA family as well. We got a lot of love from the HHCA family. We got to put some pressure on the other school families to step up and match that energy. Support Lowco Sports.
Tell Larry Satola Senior and Larry Satola Jr. we said hi.
Yeah, man. Outstanding. Max may or may not clip this later to send to them.
I'll be clipping it. Don't you worry.
So we got a few other things on the docket. We went deep on SCISA because we had the wonderful Ripley with us, and again, tremendous. But I did want to give some appropriate love to wrestling, because it was state wrestling championships today up at the Florence Center. It looked like it was amazing. I wish I would have been able to carve out the time to get up there, but the drive time involved was just too much to fit in, and just the imprecision of when things are going to happen in a wrestling tournament is kind of hard. Max Master Brander Araj, he's been called worse. But
Kev, I hope
state
you just heard what Rip was saying. That's big stuff.
Kevin is alive, by the way. I confirmed his livelihood.
I confirmed it today.
I did as well.
He's living.
And now he has risen to post in the comments, which is great to see. He's been sick as a dog, y'all, and he had to work. And he had to work like a dog today, like a sick dog. But back to the wrestling at the Florence Center. We had 5 champs, 3 runners up, 3, 4, 5, 6, 8 third-place finishers, and 2 fourth-place finishers, all staters. Our 2 fourth-place finishers will start at the bottom. Kevin Summers from Bridges Prep in the 2A 165 bracket, finishing 4th, as well as Malik Moultrie from Whale Branch in the 2A 215. Third-place finishers, so they only lost 1 match in the tournament. Stefano Calderon, May River, 4A 106, just a freshman. He'll be back. He will win the state championship, mark my words. Marcus Folk, May River, 120-pounder, finishing 3rd. Thomas Rowe, May River, 138. Antonio McKnight, Buford, 144. Stephen LaPresta from Colleton County at 190. Bridges Prep's Ali Jenkins at 175 in 2A. And then 2 girls, Jordan Moutry from Hilton Head at 130. And Michaela Henchy, who has been on the show in the past on the Lowco grind. She was 3rd at 155. The runners up, Colton Freeman from Buford, 4A 190. Jerry Chavez, Bridges Prep, 2A 285. They both fell short, as did our girl Alicia Mullins from Buford, 105-pounder. But the champs.
Yes.
Oh, wait. The champs. For the champs, we got to go with the wrestling champions of the pump. There you go. From Hilton Head in the 4A 113-pound class, Bryce Stevenson. From May River in the 4A 150-pound class, Blake Butler. By the way, he tech-falled the kid from Lawrence was it Lawrence? Yeah, in the finals. The kid that penned him in the state championship duel, tech-falled him.
Really?
Yeah,
got him back.
Dominated him. It was like 19-3. Gabe from Bluffton at 165 pounds in class 4A. Gabe Fulton. From May River at 175 pounds in class 4A. Josh Echevarria. And from Bluffton in the girls 145-pound weight class, Jada Lawrence. Those are your state champs from the Lowco.
5 champs coming from the Lowco.
Outstanding, everybody.
How about Blake Butler and Josh Echevarria? Winning the team and winning individual.
Yeah, the double.
Can't do any better than that. So huge props to those 2 and to the rest of them as well. Bryce Stevenson bringing it back to my alma mater, Hilton High, and
That's
then Bluffton getting 2. Gabe Fulton and Jada Lawrence showing up for the ladies, getting the girls 145. Yeah.
Sorry. Where did Big Bo finish?
Big Bo did not make the top 4. I regret to inform you. I mean, which was not expected in the sense that he placed 4th at the lower state last week. So that would have put him in the top 8, but not necessarily the top 4. He lost to the eventual runner-up in the second round, 9-3 decision, so a tough match. And then on the backside of the bracket, he lost his next match to the guy who ended up getting top 6. They only wrestle it out to the top 4, but this kid would have been in the round for 5th and 6th. So Bo fell a couple rounds short of placing, but no shame. I mean, it's
no shame.
It's hard out there. Out there. You get to the state championship, every match is a battle. But yeah, Butler with the 19-3 tech fall of Layden Gentry. So revenge was had in a big way. Echeverria was an animal, 48-second pin in the finals. Gabe Fulton battled out a 4-2 win over John Grove from AC Flora. Freeman got pinned in the second period. I'd be interested to know how that went, if it was whether he got caught, in a competitive match, or whether he just got pinned. There's a difference. And Stevenson, 11-8 decision over Southside's Timothy Simmons in the finals.
Wow. Very good. Very good.
But Kevin has defeated diseases 1-0. And Bo got his ride. Let them other kin shine. Bo will be joining us Monday night, though. That's the plan, to reveal where he'll be playing his college football. Okay. And then he'll be pretty much joining Team Loco for the spring, I think. It sounds like he's going to be our May River baseball beat reporter at the least. And I'm sure he'll be at other May River sporting events about every night of the week. So we look forward to him joining us.
Spring sports. I noticed this.
I was going to get to that.
Yeah. How about that? Coach Lito Grady in his first tournament as the varsity head coach leads home at prep over Buford Academy and JP, complete student, to win the Buford Academy Eagle Cup today. I saw the picture of the trophy. Decent feat. Pretty big, actually. So, yeah, very excited for Lucas. It sounds like they're going to have a good season ahead. As we know, Buford Academy over the years has been strong.
Yeah, that's a 6v6 tournament, right? Is that what it was?
I think. Let me check real quick.
It's pretty cool. It was a cool deal that Ian Leslie, friend of the show, put together. Just much like the JV tournament at May River, it's just a great opportunity for local teams to get together and knock the rust off and play against other teams. Yeah, Gremlins have eaten your audio, Max.
Definitely.
They chomped it up.
That's why
I was trying to
look on my face.
I was trying to mess with it in the settings, but nothing was helping. It was crackly. Mizzou is messing it up. Arkansas's up 7 with 8 minutes left.
Here's Coach O'Grady with the trophy, right here.
Nice.
Decent sized trophy.
Very nice.
He put it on the story.
I know. Hopefully,
that is a nice.
More to come.
That is a nice trophy. Dang, Ian.
Yeah. How about that? A nice trophy to add to the
show. Oh, shoot.
Ooh.
Missouri's playing who right now, Justin?
Arkansas, Calipari, in Pig Country.
Ooh.
I was scared of this game. Calipari's teams play so well when they're on the bubble.
Yeah. You know how I mentioned Kansas had lost by 30 plus to
yeah, they destroyed Oklahoma State today.
I was just going to mention that
30 plus tonight.
They just reversed it from what happened on Tuesday. They roughly reversed it. I think they're in rare air, if not the only team to do that in the span of a week. I was reading earlier.
Well, they lost by 30 plus and won by 30 plus.
What on
back-to-back games.
State.
Yeah. Wow. Yeah. They unleashed the fury. Mizzou down 7 with 7 minutes, which makes me think about the basketball games that we watched earlier today, which were disappointing. Sand Sharks came up empty down in St. Augie. I hope they at least drank from the fountain of youth, but they They did not. They were not victorious today. Women just were never quite really in it. Lost 75-56. Guys were very much in it and just kind of faded down the stretch. But 81-75 loss. But Wes, you were saying on the chat that they got some nice help around the league today.
Yeah. Well, in order to clinch that top 4 seed, what they needed to do today was they needed a win. They needed North Georgia to lose. They needed Lander to lose. Well, Lander and North Georgia both lost, but the St. Sharks couldn't hold up their end of the deal. So now it becomes all you need to do is win one of two. All you have to do is win one of two, but you have to beat either Columbus State or Augusta, and that is no easy task in order to guarantee that home playoff game. So, yeah,
that's
yeah, a
harsh.
lot of work to be done, and this one was a tough one because the first half, or at least majority of the first half, they were playing some great basketball, and everything was clicking. And then Flagler made their run late, the last 2 minutes or so, and then it kind of lost some steam over there for USCB, and they couldn't quite find that spark again. Flagler just kept matching him shot for shot, and then Flagler was able to pull away late, and St. Sharks had a couple opportunities. They cut it to 2 with a couple seconds to go, but Flagler played it well down the stretch. I was hoping the St. Sharks would do what Flagler did to them in the first meeting, but not to be. And those are 2 games you wish you could have had. And then the grand scheme of things there for USC, because you were close. You were close both times. But this conference, so much parity. It is hard to win, especially on the road. So,
Well, yeah, that's why you gotta get them at home, and that's why that one hurts so bad.
right. Hurts doubly now with
Yeah.
being able to get it done on the road. So you still control your own destiny for try to get that top 4 seed, but now your task is a lot harder. And
Yeah.
even though you are at the Cove, he plays the
It's
quality
the
team.
top 2 teams. It's the top 2 teams in the league, and
So
essentially 2 top 25 caliber teams. They've done it before.
Yeah.
They're gonna have to do it.
It's not out of the question. It is not out of the question
No.
at all.
They've already beat a ranked opponent this year.
Right.
No, they beat North Georgia when they were ranked at the top.
And I
Right.
feel like, and Columbus State, they were with them like the majority of that game
Yeah.
on the road.
That game was very winnable.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So this is
Which
by
makes
no
me
means, it's by
Like,
no
I think
means impossible.
I really think next Wednesday against Columbus State, I really do think USCB knows what they have to do in the next 2 games. I think if they want to do it, they're going to do it against.
Well, your audio is just trash right now, bro.
Good.
Trash. Yeah.
I'm
give it a
looking
shot.
forward. I'm looking forward to getting out there next Saturday. I am determined to. Obviously, I went there one time last year, so definitely looking forward to getting back in the Cove and seeing what it's all about.
Got to.
I'm gonna also get in touch with Bracken because I know we were in touch a couple of weeks ago via one of the shows about him possibly needing some more help with baseball and softball broadcasting this spring. So
I can
my
connect
schedule,
those dots for you too.
my schedule certainly is a little bit more free in times than Kevin's is, but I'll definitely get in touch with him because we would like to help out for sure if we can.
Oh, my wife's drinking wine and watching this Mizzou game. I'm scared for everyone.
Oh boy.
We really need to turn this thing around.
What's the score now?
Coach Barron, will we like? Yeah, I would sure love to. I was gonna see if we could get. You mean tonight? Can you get us on? Can you get them on tonight? If you mean Monday night, yes. I was gonna reach out to our good friend Ty Harpering and see if he could invite other friends. But But if you mean tonight, we can get you the link certainly to make that happen tonight because you guys have earned the opportunity to come on and celebrate with us. Oh boy, available now if you want. All right, Coach Barron. Shoot, let me see if I got. I'm gonna send it to Ty because I've got his number. Link incoming.
And Coach, I'll definitely see about whether it's myself or somebody heading out there or having you in the WHHI studio as well. We've got our production meeting on Monday, so I'll definitely bring that up because we all know what a great season you guys had, and we would like to talk to you as well.
How about
Absolutely.
a great 3 years?
Phew.
Yeah, it's
Been
been
a good run. Been a good
Been a
run.
great run.
But yeah, I was gonna wind this thing down pretty soon, but it sounds like we may have bonus coverage coming here with a possible appearance from the Hilton Head Prep fellas, which would be great.
Ooh,
Victorious Hilton Head Prep fellas.
nice.
Yeah, I just figured we'd have to wait till Monday with as late as that game wrapped. And I didn't know if they'd want to carve out time for us during their celebratory after post game activities and bus ride and all that. But if they're willing to, it'll make for great entertainment. So
Yeah.
great programming. So we'll absolutely, yeah. And unless Mizzou turns this thing around, yes, I may or may not be waiting until she goes to bed to go downstairs. She's gonna be in a fussy mood. Fussy. They be blowing her. They be blowing her. That means pissing you off in modern lingo, apparently. When somebody's pissing you off, they be blowing you.
Hardyville's catching up to you.
Meant something else in my day when you said that, but it is what it is.
That's exactly what I was.
I gasped the first couple of times.
Yeah, that's hilarious.
My lips
Your audio is much better, by the way. Back on the
sounds
USCB
great.
front, it wasn't just the basketball that went poorly. We got the big win in game 1 against Augusta. Lost game 2 today. Was it 8-6, Wes? And,
Yes, 8-6 loss for USCB. Despite the defeat, it's a solid effort. Obviously, you got to take tomorrow. You got to win this series, and that's important. But momentum of Friday will be taken away if you don't win tomorrow. So hopefully,
yeah, man, I want.
Pause. Hey, Coach. I sent the link to Ty Harpring. If y'all want to jump on from his phone, just because I had his number. But
I'll be holding
and we'll get you in here.
Yeah,
don't
well,
hold the card up at the screen. Just don't do that.
Yes.
Yeah,
rough start. The pitching wasn't as solid in this one for Shanks and Thomas, but still competitive. Still were able to stay within a couple of runs, and unfortunately, not enough in the end to come from behind to knock off Augusta. Cooper McDaniel and Jeremy Brown with a home run. Jeremy Brown staying hot. What a difference these last couple of weeks have made for Jeremy Brown to really get going this year.
Yeah,
and it is fun to see his prowess to begin this 2025 season. So I'm pumped for him, and this offense is a lot of fun. I mean, just the top of this lineup, especially with Doty, McDaniel, and Nico Andre has been so consistent as well. So now you just got to find the arms because the offense has been really churning consistently the last few weeks. But can you find, especially the bullpen, can you find those arms to lock it down or give your offense a chance to come from behind? So a big day tomorrow, and this is a huge one. You taking that first series would be massive to really build some momentum in conference play. So hope they can get it done and get this series win on Sunday. It should be a good one over there at Augusta, and then softball in action as well tomorrow. They're facing off against Coker. So,
and by the way,
baseball and softball on this Sunday.
I have Bracken Stell, so I'll get in touch with him this week.
Word.
Awesome.
Ty has responded and said right now, and I said, yeah, Coach has booked you, so come on in. So they're going to be jumping in with us here momentarily.
Yeah, I want a Blair Snake Farm come tomorrow. I want this baseball team to get this win.
Yeah, they need that series win, but they do.
I know it's early in the season, but every series counts.
Oh, well, every Peach Belt series for sure counts. Like, if you win all your series, you end up playing 600, 670 ball.
You want to start conference play on the right note. That's what I want to see out of them. No, they might be here. I think he's working out the camera right now. We're about to get Ty Harper in.
We got the champs. Is Ty Hartprince.
Yes.
What's up, man? Where's
What's up,
the
buddy?
fellas?
What's up? We're all.
Where's the fellas?
We're all
Come on,
right here.
show some
Where,
love.
where's
There they
there?
are.
They are.
are.
There are your
What's up,
SCISA
state
EA
champs,
boys
baby? Let's
champs.
go.
Hilton
What's
Coach
up?
Dolphins. Here on the Loco Sports Lowdown. We
Hey, Coach,
appreciate it.
thanks for jumping
We
in the comments
appreciate it.
and making this happen. We appreciate it. We figured we'd have to wait till Monday to talk to you guys just because of the late hour, but it looks like
they're celebrating in
celebration.
Sumter right now. So.
Yeah, the
Yes.
celebration's in full effect.
Medals
What?
celebration underway.
Where are we partying at?
What is this called? SOB? What is that?
SOBs.
Sumter something brewery, probably.
Oh boy.
Oh, okay.
All
All
right.
right. That sounds
right.
good. That sounds good.
Yeah. It's
Pretty
gonna be a fun night for
dominant.
you guys, for sure.
Pretty dominant win today, doing what you do.
Sumter Original Brewery. That's what it is.
All right. Answer his question.
Yeah, I mean, you guys just went about your business and got it done. So, you just tell me about how you guys finished off what was a tremendous season here, the Hilton Prep Dolphins.
I felt like as a team we came in locked in, focused. We knew that the game was going to be won on the defensive side. Whether or not like we shot the lights out like we did in the semifinals, or if we didn't make any shots tonight, we knew that defense was going to be like key. We held PD to like 19 points, so definitely one of the lowest of the season. So.
And I was watching the broadcast. You guys were shot blocking a ton in that first half, and you guys made it difficult for really PD to establish the offensive success that they were open for. So tell me about how you guys specifically locked in on the defensive side of the floor to limit what PD can do, because as the saying goes, if they can't win if they can't score.
Yeah, we had scouted them. We went up there and watched all their games before. We knew kind of the personnel. We knew who to keep off the 3-point line, and then our bigs did a good job of stepping up in our zone and taking away easy shots inside.
You guys had a senior laden squad. Most of you guys had been here before a time or two, so you kind of knew what it was, and you also kind of knew. I mean, I think we all kind of knew going into the season, like if you didn't get in your own way, state championship was going to be the end result. That can be challenging, though. How did you guys kind of stay up and continue to demand yourselves to be precise and consistent every day when you knew you could have gotten away with less than your best most nights?
We just kind of looked at it one game at a time, one practice at a time, making sure no matter who our opponent was, that we were getting better, not getting worse. Because, some teams play are very good, some teams are not so good. So just kind of play our game every single game.
Anybody else want to weigh in on that?
That's the main thing.
Great season, guys. An outstanding season. Talk about, I know I talked to you guys back in December, and I got to see you guys a lot, but just the whole process from where you started in November, early December. I know I saw I guess it was the second JP2 game, just going through, practicing hard every game, before every game, certainly getting after it and getting the end result.
Yeah, well, our practices were very competitive, and I mean, every practice we went through our stuff. We were just getting the small little details in, making sure that we were crisp on both offense and defense. We had a ton of plays, some which we didn't even use this whole year, but we were ready for and the main thing is we played as a team, and everything we did, it was 5 guys on the court. It wasn't one man. It wasn't me. It wasn't you. It wasn't anyone. It was all 5 of us, or whoever was on the court. We all played. We could. We all played together, and that's why.
Yep. A lot of unselfish players who understood their roles. Ty, while we've got you on camera here, Coach Fish, Matthew Fisher Davis, wants you to know that he's a big fan and wants to know if you want to reveal where you're going to go play your ball tonight. Are you ready to make that decision yet, or are we going to have to book you another night?
Probably book me another night. So we will see. But,
How's that going though? How's the recruitment? We asked you a few weeks back.
It's going well. Right now, I mean, a ton of schools are talking, but it's still in their season too, so they're waiting on their season to end, and also there's a lot of stuff going on. So right now, I'm open. I mean, I'm taking my time, and yeah, I mean, we'll see how it goes. I'm patient. That's been basically the whole thing this year. Be patient and see what happens.
Yeah, and in this new world, like they're just not going to go crazy on signing high school kids until they see what happens in the portal, because it just can change so much what your numbers are, like how many scholarships you have to give. Like it's so dependent on how many go out and how many come in. So like it's getting to be weirder, but the timing is getting to be weirder to sync up. But we look forward to hearing about it, man. And
we're
it was
really
fun
proud
watching you
of
this
what
year.
you've done just these last few months around your ultimate prep. Just
Yeah, we're grateful you came.
Yeah, talk to me about your experience of playing here and wrapping up this season with the state title.
Yeah, well, it's hard to imagine that a year ago I never thought that helmet prep existed, and so
right.
Obviously moving here for basketball, and then hearing about Coach Barron and how great he's been, and how he's very experienced. And also how our team had a great past, and they won 2 state championships in a row, and they were looking for a third. So it all worked out perfectly. And I mean, from the first practice and meeting the guys and playing with them, it was great. I mean, our chemistry started from there. I mean, we're all great friends. We all see each other at practice, after practice, at school, all in the same classes. So it's great. We're always around each other, and I don't know. I mean, I'm so glad I made this move. So glad I met all these guys, and I mean, it paid off because
yeah. Show us your no regrets tattoo.
I don't.
Just tell me about how it felt to see not just you get it done, but the other seniors on this team, and to see them wrap things up with a state championship after all the work that they have put in this program. So just how awesome was it to see the smile on their faces and to see them ended on top here with their elite prep careers.
Thanks, guys. Appreciate it.
Yeah, man.
Thank you.
All right.
Yeah, Coach. You got
Coach.
another minute?
Yeah, if you need it.
I don't know if I was asking a question. I'm not sure if they heard.
Yeah, I don't. Maybe you guys couldn't hear. Wes was asking a question, but
I was just talking about how it felt to see the smile on the faces of seniors and you fellow upperclassmen, to see them end their careers here, basketball careers, filled in prep on top.
Oh, fantastic. I mean, this has been such a great group. It's a small team. Obviously, we only had 9 players. Very different than our big rosters we had the previous 2 years.
Right.
But they worked really hard all year. Everybody kind of knew their roles and settled in pretty early. We got great contributions from a lot of people and really executed well. This was in some ways the easiest coaching job of the 3 because they just bought in so quickly.
When the kids buy in and show that leadership, makes your job a lot easier.
No question.
I gotta ask. You guys, back on January 17th, you lose to St. Andrews. Following that game, you guys won every game through the state championship by an average of 25 points or more up into that state championship game. I mean, that's really impressive. And I just wonder, what does that show in terms of the teamwork you guys had throughout the season?
Well, and yeah, actually, the St. Andrews game was one of our best games. We only had 6 players. A couple of guys were out sick.
Yeah, right.
So we played our butts off in that game. It was competitive and close to the end. But yeah, you're right. In 2025, I think our margin of victory is like 35 points. So, but it wasn't because we went on a big run and we weren't a pressing team or anything. It was just kind of being steady. That was where we were just really solid all year on both ends of the floor, and our guys bought into our matchup zone defense. early, and that became a real asset for us. And it has been in the past too, but especially this group. They played passing lanes extremely well and made it really tough on teams to figure out. That was a staple of ours, especially in the tournament the last couple of years, but it became something we really relied on a lot this year because, well, quite frankly, we didn't want to get in foul trouble.
Yeah, you couldn't. You really couldn't afford to, especially for a while there. Like when Jake was abroad, and like you were really thin for a little while there. I got to ask you, Coach, because we kind of speculated about it earlier. Your son obviously graduating. Are you on to something else after this, or are there more chapters at prep for you?
This is my last game as a coach. Yeah,
this is your swan song.
It never was the plan to coach. It was just to come down here and watch him play.
Yep.
But it's been a great blessing getting to coach him and all of his friends. It's been a lot of fun. So, excuse me, it worked out great. But no, I've got a new business down here, and so I've got a lot of work to do with that. A lot of team building there, a lot of coaching to do, and
absolutely,
I'll have my hands full with that.
Well,
two rings is a pretty good payoff.
Can't do any better than that track record that you were.
Yeah, 2 rings is a pretty good payoff for a a retirement job, right? That's what they call them. So what's the new business? We got to support your new business.
I've got a window and door replacement business out in Bluffton now, HHI Windows and Doors, and we'll be opening a showroom here real soon. That'll be off Malfris, right across the street from Lowe's. So
sounds like a future LowcoSports sponsor to me.
Right down the road from
there you go. We'll find a deal for you.
Coach, we'll definitely make sure to get you on WHHI as well here real soon.
Actually, I think I'm doing something down on Tuesday morning.
Perfect.
Dang,
it's already done.
You already got yourself booked. You must have a good secretary.
All right.
Awesome.
Appreciate you, Coach. Congratulations to you and the guys.
Congrats, Coach.
Thank you.
It was a blast to watch you play. It was a blast to watch you guys play all season.
Let's go, fellas.
Demonstration in fundamental basketball. It was awesome. Appreciate you, boys. Way to rep the Lowco.
Thank you, guys. Appreciate it.
Be safe getting home, guys. Congrats tonight.
Safe travels to the champs. Good
Awesome.
stuff. Go enjoy SOB, the only sports bar that was open in Sumter, I'm guessing. That's where you had to go celebrate. I don't think they got a Buffalo Wild Wings up there, do they? I went into full screen mode so I could see them boys better, so I wasn't paying attention to all these comments from Libby. But is Richard Barron the best basketball coach in the Lowco? I think he was until he just retired on the show.
Yeah.
We said them boys are in the Purdue. We didn't say Purdue. We said Princeton.
Kevin, I think that disease has clogged your ears up a little
bit. Polished answer from Ty, certainly. That was a great quote. He is a legend. 1 year legend. Like, man.
Yeah.
It was great. Yes, this was the best part of the show by far.
But I mean,
this is the mountaintop.
His last name means something in this area. I mean, he's had family that have been
Matt Harpering, bro. It's like fish. Like Fish and Fish didn't make it as big as Matt Harpering, but like both of them are like guys you saw lighted up in the SEC.
Yeah.
But Harpering went on and played in the league for a good while, had a really solid career. I am a capital J journalist. Yeah, absolutely. That's the way to do it. You just gotta ask. Like, they don't have to answer, but you gotta ask. Buy a window or door if you need a mentor. Well done all around. Yes, Princeton. Princeton ain't in the Midwest, bruh.
Yeah, not even close, Kev. Come on.
I think he's still dealing with that disease, man.
Princeton, the Harvard of the Midwest.
I know his brain usually isn't all there, but it's more not all there.
I think it has. I don't think it's any kind of substances. I think it's the 11-hour shifts selling cable to Sun Cityans that addles his brain. I think we would all be disturbed.
Love you, Kev.
Oh, man.
But this has been a tremendous show. We had Rip Ripley. This is like the best show of the year. We had Rip Ripley, who was phenomenal.
Phenomenal.
Phenomenal. He's already asked to come back, and we've already said absolutely. Welcome to Team Lowco. You're part of the family. We're getting you on
What a great way to put a bow on SCISA basketball season, and to get to talk to the champs just a few hours after they put the bow on their third in a row. So
we've had a few chances to do that now. I remember a BA volleyball live look-in after a state championship while they were eating dinner. There have been a few. It lines up every now and then.
Sometimes you get the rowdy bus, we get to
and that
see
can be
them on
fun.
the bus ride home, or sometimes that we had one where we got them like when they're at a restaurant or something, and we just checked in and congratulated them, and then let them on their way. But
believe it or not, we still have a basketball team
we do
battling on
indeed
next week.
We do. Wednesday, 7 p.m. in the Coliseum.
Yes,
they're calling it the Coliseum.
Coliseum
with a D. Coliseum.
Yes.
Oh, wait, are they at home?
Yeah,
they are indeed at home.
I might be able to get up there.
That would be great because we are both at the Cove that night. It'll be Andrew Jackson.
That's a big game too.
Andrew Jackson. On Wednesday, the 26th, and that should be a tremendous. Yep.
If you watch, actually, we only have I think
Kevin's
the only
he's in the group chat, so just put it in the chat,
bro.
I'll
ask Kai if he wants to go. But what a great end to the SCISA basketball season. Get 2 state champs. Really great.
Congrats to Cross as well, because I'll say they're trying to find
that season was in limbo for a while.
Yeah, that first quarter they were fighting it for a bit, and then Lawrence hit a couple of threes. I think there was one girl hit like 3 of them, and then they finally were able to get their rhythm after he turned the ball over a couple times that first quarter, and they rolled from that point on. So great performance by Cross. Those young ladies were tremendous today. Ryan Mayers for sure. She was tremendous. And then we nailed a couple of threes.
Big ones.
Someone we haven't talked about much, but talk about someone who showed up in the biggest game. Kudos to that young lady and this entire team.
Yeah, and what a great end of the year for both of those teams. I mean, like Marcus said, there was a point in the year where we were like, I don't know if they're going to be able to play the rest of the year. Like there was a point we all thought there may not be a rest of the year.
Right. I just thought it looked like they might just
pack it up and
get
go
it
home.
out. I mean, they missed a couple of games where it looked like they might just hold the line and not do it.
One of those games, like 5 or 6 games they were supposed to play.
No, I think they only forfeited 2. And then they didn't get everybody back, but they got back enough to roll after that. Now they lost a couple more games after that. Like they lost to Beaufort badly.
Sure.
But then they got to the part of the schedule where it didn't really matter. Region play, they could walk past everybody.
I mean, Beaufort was also a very solid girls basketball team this year. So
they didn't lose to anybody bad during that stretch. No. It was just like they were murdering those people by 30, and now all of a sudden they were beating them by like 8. I
want to say, if I'm not mistaken, one of those games they forfeited was against the eventual 1A girls state champions in Curtis Baptist.
It was.
Sounds right.
If I'm not mistaken.
It was.
Right, Max.
It may have worked out for both. I don't know. But congrats to the Cross girls team. 2 straight titles. Hilton Head Prep boys team, 3 straight titles. God, it's crazy to think 3 years and 3 titles for Hilton Head Prep basketball. That's just a crazy thing to think about. But it's been a great end to the basketball season for at least for SCISA. We still got one more team playing in Hampton County. They got a big game on Wednesday night. See how they do, because I think if they do win this one, they have they're playing very hot right now. They got some hot basketball right now. Oh, I see the picture down below.
What can you expect Wednesday night at Hampton County?
It's all that's left in Real Sports.
Real like it.
Yeah.
Hey.
One time. What's up, baby? Who let them dogs out, dog? Who let them dogs out?
I will tell those fans are always happy to see myself or Justin or anyone from Lowco come over here. I will tell you that.
I told Jakai, he asked about, he said he might go out there the other night, and I said, oh man, you should go. They'll treat you like a king.
Yes, indeed.
They treated me like a king when I went to watch them play Barnwell. They treated me like royalty.
Guaranteed. They love Lowco. They love that we pay attention to what's going on out there, and and shine a light on their kids when they have success, which they've had a
with the
whole lot of
future.
success
Yeah,
since we've been covering them.
We shine a light on what their future is, and they got a new
Absolutely.
school built for
Yeah,
their
they
future.
got
Yeah, they
some
do.
Great.
Oh
kids
yeah.
who
One time I had the
good
Herschel
young
Walker
people.
jersey
Yeah.
on.
Yes,
He's
sir.
repping the Cowboys. I don't think he's repping Herschel
There are a lot of
Walker.
Cowboys fans over there.
He does not
Yeah.
ascribe to all of Herschel Walker's beliefs, I don't think.
But then we got another big week next week. Obviously, Hampton County game. Bo Gwynn's hopping on Monday to talk with us about his
so it's officially crossover time. We still got we got the Hampton County basketball team last regular season week for USCB basketball. 2 games at the Cove Wednesday night against Columbus State, Saturday afternoon against Augusta to wrap up the regular season 2 enormous games for the Sand Sharks, and cannot wait to be a part of those.
Time, boys. It's go time, Sand Sharks.
It is
go time.
All the way.
It's time to tighten up your shoes and get to work.
Also time for fans around the Low Country to pack the Cove, because they need a good.
Hey, everyone who watches this video tonight or tomorrow, get out to those 2 games.
Get your tickets. Wednesday night is a $5 tickets for locals night.
Yes, it
so that's a great night to go introduce yourself. I promise you'll get more than $5 worth of entertainment out of 2 games in the Cove. Promise.
And
people are paying big bucks to go see college basketball games.
I'm also in works next week of having Lucas O'Grady hop onto the show with us at some point this next week. Talk about his tournament victory for Hillnet Prep Boys varsity soccer.
All my beverages are empty. All my beverages are empty, so the show must come to a close.
Your 3 beverages, 3 different beverages you have?
It's like the sands through the hourglass. When I run out of beverage, we must end the show. So that means we've gone on too long. So the other sponsors that we want to shout out, Base Hit Life. Real quick note though, Sand Space Capital S Sharks.
Dude, my
Say
phone
it together, everyone. 2 words.
You're not the shark. The Sand Shark.
Train your phone. Train your brain. Sand Sharks. 2 words.
Yeah.
Former marketing director.
How many times do you hear them called the Sharks, or some weird pronunciation of the Sand Sharks? Sand Shark.
They're the Sand Sharks.
I will say, I made that mistake on the group chat the other night. For some reason, my phone decided to make those 2 words into one.
And I was so proud of Bracken for instinctively correcting you.
He got mad at me. I came over to the game and Bracken was like, "Yo, what's going on, man?" It's just, but anyway.
No, I mean that's just. Style and marketing is important.
Justin, your liquids are gone.
My beverages are gone. Right. The Base Hit Life. They got baseball and softball themed apparel. Max may never wear his Calm Your Mitts hoodie again now that he's got his Canes hoodie.
Ooh,
but we'll see. Maybe we'll see it again one day. Live your best Base Hit Life at basehitlife.com. Great for you baseball and softball fans this season. I mean, they do got some I got a lot of good compliments for my I Got That Dog in Me t-shirt that I wore at the softball tournament last weekend from Base Hit Life. So you should check that out. Dr. Ambrose Cole, our official chiropractor. Find him at Rooted Living Wellness in Bluffton, and he'll get you feeling right, mind, body, and spirit. Reverence Wrestling Club, official wrestling sponsor, presenting sponsor of the Lowco Grind, and proud trainers of many, not all, but many of the medalists from the Lowco today up in Florence. Congrats to all of you once again. We'll celebrate you more on Monday night. Barefoot Floor Care of the Low Country. Get your floors so clean that your feet will thank you. And Jay's Barber Shop, the place to be in Ridgeland, whether you need a haircut or not. And we all know who gets the haircut. One time.
Oh my
Yes.
God.
I just did that on the fly. No, it was fun. But yeah, he's one of the many who get their haircut at Jay's Barbershop, a great multicultural barbershop in downtown Roseland. Go check it out. They're our friends. That's it. So what are the parting thoughts, gents?
Yeah, just once again, congrats to our 2 state champions. Congrats to our wrestling state champs. Well done to all of those young men and young women, because we had a young woman on top of that. So 5 state champs. Tremendous year. Winter sports wrapping up. I mean, almost. We still have obviously one more team to go, but it's been a fun winter sports season. I mean, just talking as a whole for basketball, just to see the competitiveness throughout the local and high school league front. Staying over the skis as well. I think the highlight of the year, well, there were several. Tonight was one of them, but the Bobcat Classic, the way it was all local teams this year, besides some
fun.
Savannah teams,
It was
it
so
was
awesome.
a ton of fun. That was probably the most fun I had watching regular season basketball this year. Just incredible to
Zoo
see the
goes
Lowco
down.
come together, plus a couple other squads coming, and just nonstop hoops and some really competitive games. So that was a ton of fun. Great way to spend the holidays, and great memory that I will have. And hopefully that will be a continued thing, or something that will grow even further, to have these kinds of local and loco style tournaments to really kind of see where everyone is, because it was a fun hoop season, and we've got a lot of young talent coming up, and some tremendous veterans that we're going to say goodbye to, and look forward to seeing what they do in their next chapters. But it was a fantastic boys and girls basketball season. Shout out to some tremendous teams who really wowed us over there. Bluffton's boys had a fantastic year. One of the bigger stories of the season. That region race between them and May River, that was fantastic down the stretch. Buford's girls making some noise as well. They were outstanding. Just a very competitive 6-4 region on both sides. And obviously you're seeing Battery Creek really compete and fight hard in a tough region on both the boys and the girls side. Bridges Prep as well. We saw them continue to get better as the year went on. And then, of course, the one team that's still in it, the Hampton County guys, as we wish them best of luck heading into what should be a thriller against Andrew Jackson on Wednesday, as they carry the Lowco's flag in high school league. But this was a really fun basketball season, and we've had some good ones, but I just feel like the parity between some of our teams and the competitiveness throughout. I mean, talk about that guy's power rankings throughout the season. I mean, it was neck and neck the whole way. Maybe not the top, but well, even at the top, Bluffton, May River, or Bluffton and Hilton Head Prep and May River were right there, and just a really, really fun season with so many talented teams, and so many teams that improved a lot as this year went on. And it's always fun to get in those gyms, but I had a ton of fun this past winter.
It was a lot of
always
fun, but
blast.
certainly for me, I saw more basketball than I've seen probably collectively in any season. I mean, I was in
And that's a
gyms
good
well
thing.
before I started calling games.
Yeah.
It was 10 weeks of essentially going and seeing coverage. The Bobcat Classic, of course, outside of me actually calling the WHHI games, the Bobcat Classic is absolutely phenomenal. As long as they do that, I will return. And I was able to finagle my schedule in a way with some other things going on that I was able to see more and more basketball, and it really was tremendous. Obviously, I was a little bit bummed the way the way Bluffton ended their season with that tough luck loss the other
It's a good
night.
Wilson team. That's a really good Wilson
Very good
team.
Wilson team.
That was a great game, though. I mean, that's all you want.
To everybody. That's right.
Yeah.
Play here or play there early, and it could be a different situation. Congrats to everybody. Good luck to Hampton County on Wednesday night.
Yeah.
Best of luck to
Andrew Jackson is
USCB.
responsible for genocide. Go Hampton. I'm on board with that.
Covering sports here in the Low Country with you guys, and lots more coming up.
Yep.
Indeed.
Maxie?
Oh, just ready to get spring sports into full gear, you know?
Well, speaking of which, JV Cup, Low Country JV Cup continues tomorrow. Shoot, I should pull up the schedule. I'll get the schedule up. But Los Canes in the B bracket, the blue bracket, which was kind of a weird mix. Hardyville, Colleton, and Battery Creek made sense, but then Bluffton's in there, which I was like, well, which one of these is not like the others? But Los Canes gave Bluffton all they wanted today. Bluffton ended up winning 2-1, but there were a number of chances that were near misses for Hardyville, and they had some really close calls and tough luck with the bars. But here's a beautiful goal by my guy Edgar. Watch Edgar. Oh, Edgar! Yeah, lightning. Muy bien, Edgar. Muy bien. Yeah. If he had also converted the penalty,
now the weather's
we
going to
would have
warm up.
won the game.
Looking forward to getting back out outside and covering some sports over there. And yeah, it's almost time. Everyone knows that soccer is my favorite sport to cover because you've been to a game, and I think one of the May River athletes took a video.
Claire Green captured that.
She knows it's my favorite, and other people know too. It's my favorite sport to cover.
You scoot up and down those sidelines, getting that footage. It's awesome. Well, yeah, you're good at zooming with your feet.
Yes.
Let's put it that way. That's true. Wade Hampton also was not a good fellow. You should do some research on his red coats if you're not familiar.
Yeah, I sometimes
it was horrible, but thank God Hampton County is no longer named after Wade Hampton. I mean, Hampton County High School. The county is still named after, but the high school is just named after the county now instead of the man, which is better.
Right.
Yeah.
1 degree of separation. Los Canes. De Azul or de Orange? I know Orange is already taken, but we the Ville. Los Canes, though. Absolutely, Los Canes. We have many countries represented, and I'm told we will have flags flying on opening
awesome.
night.
Awesome.
Yeah, it's pretty cool.
Looking forward to
that. JV Cup is tomorrow afternoon. I was going to get you the schedule for that because I'm sure Misa's on top of it. Misa be sleeping probably at this point because he's got to do this all again tomorrow.
Yeah.
Oh man, he was running. He was literally working the gate like. He was all over it. Let's see. Bracket. So in the black bracket, Hilton Head beat Stratford, May River and West Ashley tied. Lucy Beckham beat West Ashley, Richmond Hill and Stratford tied. Hilton Head and Richmond Hill tied, and Lucy Beckham beat May River. Battery Creek beat Colleton. Bluffton beat Hardyville 2-1. So it's gonna be tomorrow, Sunday, 10 a.m. On the practice field, it's Colleton versus Hardyville. In the stadium, it's Bluffton versus Battery Creek. And then at 11:30, it'll be the bracket play for the black bracket. And then we'll have a blue bracket championship at 1 p.m. in the stadium and a black bracket championship at 2:30 in the stadium tomorrow. I don't know if the jerk chicken will be back. But if so, I saw it was not there when I got there, but it was later because Coach Rayleigh went back for the jerk chicken and sent me a picture, and it looked delicious. So you should go check that out. Orange y amarillo. Orange y amarillo por life. Oh yeah, de azul, the blue. Yeah, the blue bracket. I understand. I gotta know. Más partidos, chicos, más partidos. All right, boys. I think that'll do it for tonight. Good time. It was an all-time great show in my mind. Ripley was tremendous debut from Ripley. We got a lot of insight on SCISA and on the games today, and then getting to finish it off with the Hilton Head Prep boys and getting Coach Barron breaking news officially on the show. I had heard through the grapevine, but it's good to hear it from
official now.
the horse's mouth, as it were, so we don't have to speculate. So great show all around. I appreciate you boys for riding along. Thanks to Rep Ripley, and thanks to Coach Barron for making it happen to get the guys on here to celebrate with us. Thanks to you for listening or watching, and thanks, of course, to you, Kevin Libby, for being Kevin Libby.
Welcome back, buddy.
Couldn't do it without you, or at least it wouldn't be nearly as much fun. But this is going to do it for tonight. If you'd like to become a sponsor, let us know. We'd love to get you in the roster. We'll definitely be hitting up the Hilton Head windows. Right. Wes Kerr, Max Araj, Marcus Walsh. I'm Justin Jarrett. Till next time.